I suppose we can get going. It's 3 after 12, and Rachel is unavailable today. She had a conflict with her calendar, so she asked that I step in and host us. So she sent me the agenda. We'll go ahead and start, Dave, if you don't mind putting up the flag. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Dave. Do I have anybody who would like to volunteer a motivational phrase or an invocation for the day? Otherwise, I can quickly Google one. Like I said, didn't have one prepared. Let's see how fast I can Google. I don't see any volunteers, so I'm gonna Google motivational phrase, and we're gonna see what comes up. The very first one, here we go. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Walt Disney. I like that. That's great. That works. Okay. Guests. I see a couple guests. Donna and Darlene. I might have you guys each wave and maybe introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Hi, I'm Darlene Smith. I'm from the Cascadia Club, and I live in Langley, BC, Canada. And I'm also the KCCP president for BC Children's Hospital.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us today.
We're crossing borders today. I like that.
We are.
Yes. I'm Donna Kelso. I'm also in Canada, in Osoyoos, BC. I'm with Cascadia. We just got an email this morning inviting us to the club meeting, and we're hoping for an interclub, but so far there's only 2 of us. And I'm the club Cascadia secretary.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining as well. Appreciate that. Looks
Thanks
like,
for having me.
Yeah, looks like we've got Amy Jo on the line too. See if she's connecting or if she'd like to say hello. And I don't see our speaker today. Our speaker's not here yet. We'll go ahead and do some announcements. First and foremost, it looks like we have a volunteer opportunity. Every year our club's committed to putting out and taking down the flags for Flag Day. This year, June 14th is the day. Now it is during the week, so we want to take extra caution. There's going to be a lot more traffic on the roads than if it were a weekend or a national holiday where banks are closed and everybody's closed. So we want to take care of that, but that also means we need to stress extra volunteers. Kids are going to be in school, and people are working. So there's an opportunity for you guys to invite your friends and family and neighbors, and we are going to try to get the Key Club involved. And Kara at the Chamber had mentioned that there was some interest from local high school students for volunteer opportunities. So we're going to see if the Chamber can wrangle a few teenagers for us as well. But school is in session, so that'll be kind of a potential problem for that day. Any other announcements? Anybody have anything that they'd like to share with the club? Earl, go ahead.
2 things. Number one, for our friends in Canada, we have Flag Day. This club puts up 1,500 flags.
Wow.
So we need a couple of hands. If you'd like to come down and help us, we'd be more than happy.
They won't let us over the border.
Yeah. The other thing is I want to remind folks that collection of food bags on the 27th and 28th and 29th. If you have food bags, we'll be back at the park down in front of the Chamber of Commerce to pick those up at 10 o'clock. And if you can't make it, then you can't, just give me a call and I'll come by and pick them up. And if you need bags to give to your friends or who might be, collecting them for you, and you need extra bags, let me know. I'll be glad to bring extra ones over so you can exchange an empty one for a full one. Thank you.
Thanks, Earl. Alan, I saw your message there that you can drive a trailer. That is something Randy Marvin has been reaching out to try to accomplish. He wants to get a list going of 20 or 25 people willing to drive trailers for every occasion that those flags go out. And so we appreciate that. And he may or may not be in touch with you. I'll pass your name along to let him know you're willing for Flag Day. Okay, no more announcements. Let's go ahead and move into Happy Dollars. Oh, John Duff.
I'm sorry, I just, this year's golf tournament with Reach has been postponed temporarily. Hoping to potentially do our own tournament in the fall and then come back with Reach next year, but to be determined.
Thank you. Alan.
I have two $5 Happy Dollars. One is Election Day was yesterday. I did win my seat to the community college board. Not that I had an opponent, but it's over with, thank goodness. The other is that Representative Jack Zika has put into the money that the legislature is able to spend. I think it's $2 million for each representative and $4 million for each senator. He's putting $200,000 in, and he named out Redmond Learning Center and Reach. And the purpose of this money is to help us create a shared services model that combines operations for both.
Fantastic. Excellent. Anybody else happy? Earl.
I better be happy because I already told John I was going to put money in and he's charged me for it. So I'm happy to try to be happy. Being on the board of the Redmond Learning Center, like Alan, I'm happy that we're able to get some funds to continue to try to operate the program. I'm happy for the people who have participated in the food collection drive. Remember, so far we've got over a ton of food we've given to the food drive. We'd like to continue that. I'm happy I got a new advisor at Redmond High for our Key Club, which is, I think, a really important part of our program. And I'm happy my wife still feeds me. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I'll be happy.
Sure, Michelle, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. I have, Olivia wants to put in a happy dollar, but she doesn't want to be on the video. So she's super happy and thankful for everybody who supported her for that Mr. and Miss RHS. Her team earned $5,400 for the kiddos in the NICU. So that was a pretty huge, exciting win for her. I think they definitely made the most money. So that was great. And then I also am happy because Ms. Amber down there and our Redmond Community Engagement team has put together the National Donut Day fundraiser. I think we have 50 pre-order boxes almost sold, and it's not too late. Just let Amber know. And if you'd like some donuts, $20 for a box for a variety of Sweetheart donuts, and all the proceeds will go to Rimrock Trails. And if you can't make it, if you don't want to pre-order but can make it down there on the day of the event, we'll be there Full Throttle Coffee or Java on June 4th from 7 to 10. So I'm happy about that. And then a warning for everybody that lives in Redmond. Danny did get his driver's license yesterday. So, so be very careful on the road. And I'll put in $10 for my 3.
Thanks.
How do we get a hold of Amber or you to get the donuts?
You can email Amber, or I'll put her in the chat. I'll put her information in the chat.
Michelle, I still need one of those flyers too.
Okay, I'll get you one. I'll walk one down.
Thanks. John, did I see your hand? Mr. Duff?
Yes, I was going to put a scared dollar in, but Michelle did that for me. I've got $5. I am thrilled to be done with tax season. It was just not a very pleasant experience this year, but happy to be done with it. Boy, there's been a whole bunch of Oregon Duck sports stuff going on. The men won the Pac-12 championship for the 14th year in a row. Women's softball finished third. Men's baseball is tied for first right now. There's a lot going on up there. And then Dan Tippy will like this. I have some security cameras at our cabin up in Eastern Oregon, and I picked up some elk on them last night or 2 nights ago. So I'm thrilled to get up to the cabin and see what the elk are doing. So.
Bear.
And oh yeah, bear too. So.
Wow. Carl.
We had a great celebration in McMinnville this weekend. It was great to get out of town. We did a belated Mother's Day and birthday celebration with our kids and grandkids, and that also included some wine tasting. And I'm also pleased that our scholarship process is complete for the year, and we're happy to share $13,000 with graduating seniors.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Carl. Okay, Dan Tippy.
So I got a very happy $20 bill. We're going to be grandparents again. Yay! Our son Patrick and daughter-in-law Amanda are expecting a baby in August.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh.
Great.
That's cool. John Bruce, did I see your hand?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
First of all, to our guests from Canada, I lived in Alaska for 30 years, so I drove that Alcan Highway 15 times at least, and I was always treated so well by Canadians. Thank you. It was a great place to be. Next thing, first of all, I'm going to put in $5. I did get a really good checkup from my physician. It was at least as good as a guy that's almost 82 can get. So I was pleased with that. And then the next thing is that our daughter came to visit. First time we'd seen them, we couldn't really figure out the last time. We had a nice hike and just had a really good time with them. It was good to be able to go around without some masks on. Also, I would like to, sitting on the RLCC board, thanks again. And we're really glad that we got that money to work with. Maybe we get things working for the people that we serve. Hope we can do that. I guess another thing was that it happened to be Teacher Appreciation Week sometime, and I had no idea it existed, but I had one student I hadn't heard from for almost 45 years give me a call, and another one actually dropped by to see me. Emotional gold. Anyway, I'm going to call that for the time being. Great to be here.
Fantastic. That's cool. Well, I also have a happy $5. Tax season is over. Many of you know my wife worked with John Duff, and so it's nice to have her back. So we'll say that's at least $5 worth. John, don't tell her that's all. All right. Any other happy dollars?
Carl, how many happy dollars did you say? Was that 20?
I think 5 will be sufficient.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I heard you guys earlier in the day, by the way, and I wasn't as happy as Earl was. I think it was like $600 you owed. I'm not that happy. Okay?
Yeah, I see you.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, I think Truman wants to express something.
Oh, sure. I have a sister-in-law who underwent a serious operation this weekend, and Anna and I came up to Portland to be whatever help we could. And it turned out everything's fine. She survived the operation and is healing at home. And we had a vacation, as it turned out, in a 4-star hotel, which is a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm. We didn't like the reason we were there, though.
No.
But things turned out okay so far. And we'll put in $5.
Yes, we will.
All right. Okay, if that's everybody, we will kind of move into the program. Amy Jo is with us today. Amy Jo, I'll give you a moment to introduce yourself, and then you can kind of dive right in.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the invite to be here today. It's nice to hear some of those stories you just shared. And I recognize a couple faces here, Dan and Carl. Good to see you. My name is Amy Jo Detweiler. I am the horticulture extension agent for the Central Oregon region. I work for OSU Extension based in the Redmond office, and I represent all 3 counties in the region and have been here since 1999. So I was asked to just give an overview of what we do at the Extension office, just so you're familiar with our services, and introduce a little bit of the programming that we do. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. I think I need permission to do that.
You just got it.
Okay, yep, there it is. Okay, so I'm hoping you can all see that. I like this cover photo. I use it for a lot of different things, but you can see the photo on the right is a couple of the kiddos. We had a few Master Gardener volunteers that worked in the Boys and Girls Club in Redmond for a couple of years in a row. And this was a really cute photo of them harvesting some of their produce. Let's see here. I can get this to advance. Just a minute here. It seems like my slides are not advancing for me. There we go. So the community horticulture program, also kind of known as consumer horticulture, my main goal in the program is to assess needs of the community. So instead of working with students on campus at OSU, we're placed out in the communities to work with community members and find out what they have an interest in as it relates to horticulture, and then go out and meet those needs through educational outreach. And so I look to develop and maintain and manage the program for the region. And I do a needs assessment primarily through all the phone calls we get in the office on people asking their gardening questions. What the questions that rise to the top that are the most asked are the ones that we try and do education around. We work with all audiences from elementary school all the way up through homeowners. And really the primary goal is just teaching people about sustainable gardening practices. So we kind of have 2 main areas we focus on in the community horticulture program. And the one is backyard food production. And of course, there's been a really big interest in that, in particular in more recent years. And again, it was even amplified further during the pandemic because people were at home, so they had time to be gardening. So we focus a lot of our educational outreach around backyard food production. And for example, this past year, having a little more time for writing, I helped co-author 4 new food production guides on berries, growing blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and the blackberries, and was able to add in the Central Oregon component to these publications as a co-author. So we have information like that available to homeowners. We try and just help troubleshoot things like this. This is probably sage rats that did this, or ground squirrels, one or the other, most likely the ground squirrels in this case. Just these were Brussels sprouts, but just trying to help people be successful and figure out ways to troubleshoot and grow things here. The other kind of flagship of the community horticulture program is sustainable landscape practices, and that goes into landscaping. I primarily focus on water-wise gardening and have some pictorial plant guides out as it relates to that. Fire-wise gardening, of course, is again at the top of mind given last year's wildfire season. And so I do some research and put out publications as it relates to these types of things. And kind of combining those 2 efforts, we have, for example, something called Project Happy Apples, which is a community project. It's a community effort to manage codling moth and fruit trees, which is the little wormy apples we all get on our apple trees and or pear trees, and to just give out real-time information on when people should be doing what, and give the whole variety of different ways to manage from organic methods all the way up through chemical control, just research-based information on when to do what to be successful on the timing to manage these types of things. And that program has taken off and been really successful for us in the region. Ways that we deliver other educational information. We have our garden hotline that's staffed by our trained Master Gardener volunteers, do newsletters, publications. We have social media that's really taken off in the last year. We have a radio show spot that we give weekly. And of course, I'm not doing this all alone. I'm the only staff member for the HORT program, with the addition of one other staff member that helps support my program, who's an instructor, Tony Steffen. And outside of that, I rely on the help of the Master Gardener volunteers. And that's also part of my job, is to train the volunteers each year. This is some of the classroom training and the outdoor training that we do for that program. It's a pretty intensive volunteer training program, but you're all welcome to get involved if you'd like. Just to give you an idea, we have about 130 volunteers in a given year. That's where we're at about right now. And that's active volunteers that are ones that have already been certified, and those that are still working through their certification process. Last year, we reached about 694 people. Those numbers were cut in about half with the pandemic. We weren't doing face-to-face outreach. So, but just to give you a sense of what type of volunteer work is being done, the number of hours, and how that translates into dollars contributed as far as FTE goes. Normally our season looks like we're doing, in a general year, we'd give 40 to 50 community ed outreach classes proactively throughout the communities. This year it looked a little different, and we did the classes online remotely. So you can see here some of the types of classes we'll give. Our spring seminar is usually 16 classes, and we just did 5 Zoom classes, with the native plant landscaping one being the most popular one that was offered in that list of classes. And then we did growing vegetable, a series of 3 classes where we had a video we gave out ahead of time, and then we had a Q&A following and had people participate that way. We have demonstration gardens. We maintain 2 of those. We're going to be putting in a 3rd. We have community gardens that we manage. So here's the demonstration garden in Redmond. If you haven't been to it, it's located on the fairgrounds. I encourage you to come over and take a look. These are pictures not from the 2020 year, but from 2019. And you can see some of the produce that we grow there. Our demonstration gardens, community gardens, we're harvesting our excess of food and donating it to Neighbor Impact for the region. And in the demonstration gardens, we have most of our plant material signed, so you know what it is, and you can get an idea of how it works, what it looks like, and if it's something you want to bring into your own landscape or yard. We do a plant sale as a fundraiser for our Master Gardener Association. This is just showing you the line. It's been a really popular event for us on the fairgrounds. Of course, this is 2 seasons ago. And this year it's going to look a little different when we're going to do a drive up, where you order online and just drive up in your car and pick it up. Here's our community gardens. We manage 2 of them, and we do some classes in the garden typically and that sort of thing during the year. And then we do an annual high desert garden tour, which this year I'm not sure we're going to be able to do. We'll see, but this is where we go, move around the county to different cities, and we feature 6 to 7 homes, introducing people to different sustainable gardening practices, highlighting gardens, and tying in some education to that event as well. It's usually the 3rd week in July. Still kind of unsure about where we're going to be to offer it this year. And that's just a view from one of the homes when we did it in Madras a few years ago. It's one of the gardens there. And we like to include all types of gardens, from the smallest urban lot to larger sprawling gardens, so people can see a lot of different things. And additionally, in the program, we do commercial. I do a little bit of commercial horticulture, a little less of that now that we have a small farms agent in the area, but teaching the green industry professionals. So I was doing educational outreach for landscape maintenance, nursery owners, certified arborists, all of that, just providing education to them so they can continue their professional development. And working with a little bit with the hop growers, and early on with some of the wine grape growers and that sort of thing. the lavender farms, and so do a little bit of that work as well, and just help them troubleshoot if they need help with troubleshooting. And so probably one of the easiest ways to find out what we're doing at the extension office is to get on our website. And I'm going to see if I can share that screen. I'm going to stop sharing this one and see if I can share that page real quick. Not sure I have that up. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So hopefully you can see that. The easiest way to find out what we're up to is to just do a Google search and type into Shutes County Extension Service. And then here on this website, you can see if you want to know more about our home garden and landscape program or our Master Gardener program, that you just click on that link. Are you all seeing that okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. And then if you scroll down here, you know, here's where you can go to put in a garden question, learn more about our Master Gardener training. Here's all of our local gardening publications that are specific to our region or applicable to our region, even if they were written otherwise. And then a list of classes that we might have coming up in both regional classes, and there's some that are being offered statewide. And then some of our local projects, more about our community and demonstration garden, Project Happy Apples, if you're interested in getting on the email list for that, garden tour information, and then more about the, we have a high desert gardening newsletter we put out. So that type of information is all available to you on our website. And we're just there, to me, in the simplest form. One of our most important jobs is really just being able to help answer your gardening questions and hopefully allow you to make more informed decisions about gardening and be more successful in your home gardening. So with that, I'll take questions if anyone has any questions about the program.
Go ahead, Earl.
A question about the visitation that when you do the going to different gardens. Do you have any idea where, I know a couple of years ago you did it down rather up north in the Madras area. This year, is there a particular area you're looking to find gardens at?
Well, we were slated to do the Bend area in 2020. Of course, it got canceled. So we were holding those homeowners over for this year, and we're right now we're having conversations about whether or not we have time to pull it off and have it go in July or not. It takes a little bit of prep work. Obviously, it takes prep work from the homeowners, but also from the management side, our side of like printing the ticket books with the maps and getting sponsorship and all that. That was all kind of put on hold. So it would be Bend this year if we do it. If not, it's probably going to get postponed to Bend next year. But the biggest challenge for us in putting the tour on, which it's the only fundraising event I do for the horticulture program as a whole. The Master Gardener Association does a couple for their association, but for me, the hort program, the only funding I do is this garden tour. So we'll probably put it on in Bend again if we aren't able to do it in Bend this year. But the biggest challenge, as I was starting to say, is actually finding the home. So if you have a home you're willing to offer, as soon as we can get 5 or 6 homes in a town, that's when we'll do it in that region. And we do try to mix it up every year and move it around to the 3 different counties if possible. It's always a little harder to find 6 homes or so in the smaller towns, but would love ideas or suggestions or nominations. If your neighbor has a good garden, that's the hardest part for us, is finding people that have a garden and they're willing to share, because we can have a pretty high number of folks walk through. We just do it one day. And I think in Madras, we had about 300 go through on the day in Madras. The last time we did it in Bend, we had about 780 people go through it. So if you're willing to let that many people tromp through your yard, then we're excited to have anyone so nominations send my way, give me a holler and we'll put you down on the list.
Thank you.
Alan, go ahead.
My dad, Dr. Unger, was a big gardener. I don't have the green thumb he had, but I have tomato hoops and cultivators and all kinds of gardening stuff. What do I do with it? Can I take it out to your place? What do I do?
Yeah, we could certainly take a look and see if we have a need for any of that if you're looking to donate it. It just depends on what it is. We have a garden shed on site there, but it's not terribly big. So we would love to take a look if you're looking to donate some things and see if we have a use for any of that. That'd be awesome, Alan. Thank you. Just give me a holler and I'll come out.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a trailer and I'm going to take it out to your place and you can see what it is you want. And then I need from you an advice on what do I do with what you don't want. So,
okay. Yeah. Because we often will have like school gardens and other places contact us. And so maybe there's a way to get that distributed through some of these other, after school programs or school programs that might use some of that as well.
Alan, it sounds like an opportunity for the Redmond Learning Center.
I'll think about that. We're talking kids under.
No, I know.
4.
What has happened to the Master Gardener program in the pandemic?
Yeah, so we had training. We had the classroom training take place in 2020, and I was able to actually get through the 10 classroom training dates before it really hit. I think the last one was offered remotely, but the first 9 we were able to do in person. But then the outreach part of that training certification was put on hold. And so that group got carried over into this year. And we did not offer our annual training this year in 2021 because we're giving the 2020 class another year to get certified. And we didn't want double the number to certify because that's hard for us to manage. So that was a statewide decision to do that. So right now we're just carrying over the class and we're trying to keep our certified veteran Master Gardener volunteers engaged, and we'll see what happens for 2022. We're planning to offer the training, but we're also looking at a different way to do training in the future. I don't think it'll look the way it's looked in the past. I think it's going to be more hands-on. I think it's going to be more hybrid where it's statewide, because we're statewide. OSU has lost some of its horticulture faculty, and we're not they're not replacing those faculty and staff as often as they used to. And so we're seeing less of us with horticulture expertise to teach classes, and they're going to try and maximize us to do more statewide teaching, I think. Yeah, Dan and Carl, both Master Gardener volunteers that have worked in our program. Dan's still active in the program. So it's nice to have them both. Yes, Truman.
I have a basic question. What's your definition or differentiation between agriculture and horticulture?
So I guess when I think of agriculture, you're talking about large scale management of crops, and it could be, agricultural crops, which is more like grasses and weeds and those sorts of things, versus horticultural crops, which is going to be more fruits and vegetables. The definition of horticulture would be the culture and care of plants. And so it's more about the practice of the culture and care of plants versus the scale of production, I guess. It's a pretty broad definition though, when I think about the other faculty members in my horticulture department. Like the range is from those doing genetics all the way to folks like me that are more of a generalist, to all the specialists like the berry crop specialist or the turf grass specialist.
Mm-hmm. But turf grass, wouldn't that be large scale rather than, or maybe not? Maybe it's long.
Yeah, it actually can cross into both categories, but it actually more likely ends up being in the horticulture department.
Okay.
Than agriculture. Yes.
I thought I knew, but I'm still not sure at where the.
Yeah, and I probably didn't give you a good answer there.
That's fine. It's close enough.
Earl, go ahead.
How do you do you interface with the FFA and the 4-H programs?
We do some cross programming. Usually those are just by request that I'll have the 4-H program more so just, ask about certain things or usually it's, can you come and teach a workshop on this, that, and the other thing to the kids? And we have a greenhouse at the demonstration garden, and the 4-H program has done some growing in that greenhouse and that sort of thing. I haven't interfaced a whole lot with FFA, but on occasion, either an instructor or someone will contact us and just want some information more than anything.
How long has the garden been at the fairgrounds?
It's been there since 2003, and it started as a big weed patch, and it's maintained by Master Gardener volunteers. And we just, all may know this, but we added an annex building next to our existing building last year. And so we have a whole new area to landscape now too. So we're going to be adding some new demonstration garden plants this season. Maybe we have a little area behind too, where I may want to do some research on, I have a couple different ideas for some research, maybe behind there a little bit.
Well, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate the program.
Sure. Please give us a holler if you've got questions we can help you out with.
Yeah, Michelle, you got a question.
Would you put your email in the chat for me? I have a question, an off-topic question for you.
Sure.
Off screen.
Wonderful. Well, good. Any other questions before we kind of wrap things up? No. Okay. Alan, you waving? Well, I will wrap it.
Sorry, I was just saying goodbye.
No worries. Yeah, we'll adjourn, but I'll go ahead and leave you with the joke of the day. Oh, John Duff, go ahead real quick.
I want to know if anybody's planted their garden yet. Dan Tippy has.
Except for the real frost sensitive plants. I'll wait until Memorial Day weekend or maybe a little after.
What have you put in the ground?
Oh, I've got peas and beets and carrots and lettuce and radishes
Okay.
and onions.
Okay.
I got rock chucks.
All right, so today's joke of the day. The question is, who built King Arthur's round table? Any guessers? Chris, you're thinking hard. The answer is circumference. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks for being here. Amy Jo, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate you. We'll see you all next week.